I'm going to jump in this tomorrow. And I'm telling you, folks, right there, how white folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, I just read about the Indian land grab. And I'm like, my gosh, man, good Lord. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. Because that means we've got to look people in the face and say, our forefathers were the worst people in the history of mankind. The things that they did, that manifest destiny, that kind of mentality has been atrocious. What we have done to the African Americans. The estimated number of wealth that came from slavery, from free labor, and that's what it was. And they estimate that the amount of money that came from slavery was around $24 trillion. You can't even grasp that much money. The average person has a hard time grasping what $1 billion is. $1 trillion. Holy shit. And a lot of people don't want to admit the truth because a lot of people also are scared that what happens if we actually do have to maybe pay reparations. Understand that everything, that beautiful capital in Washington, D.C. was built by slave labor. The majority of the churches in this country were built by slave labor. Our forefathers were lazy. And if they were smart, which they were, but the problem was they were cunning. It's sad.
Welcome to, I guess this is a special edition of You Left Shit Out. I'm your host for today's episode. I'm CJ or Compton J or J. I just saw that video earlier this morning and thought whenever I go live again, I wanted to use that. I just thought it was a great sort of epiphany I don't get the feeling that this guy feels guilty of his forefathers, which is what a lot of people who push back on things like CRTs, we don't want our kids to feel guilty. I don't think he feels guilty. I think you feel guilty if you still trying to act like the atrocities didn't happen, which is the majority of white people in power. But this guy doesn't feel guilty. He doesn't give that vibe. It's just an acknowledgement. Wow, they were terrible. Yeah, you should get that as descendants of the people who they treated terrible and lost all your wealth. That's it. Nobody's expecting white people to be like, nobody's expecting that. It's just simple. Oh, it's an acknowledgement. Yeah. The forefathers that we praise and have on this, they weren't that great of a people, actually. And there needs to be some payment. Like that's it. It's not you taking ownership. It's just an acknowledgement. But anyway, love the video. And I was just deciding to come on. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to go live today. That's probably why it's a little bit about an hour past my normal time, at least. I was astonished by one of the stories we're going to be talking about, which is the liberal meltdown. I posted an article from World Socialist website and woke up. I think I posted it yesterday. Yeah, I posted it last night and woke up this morning with like 500 or 400. I think at the time of this morning it was like at 300, maybe 500. I don't know. 300 or 400, something like that. Comments on the article. Now, obviously, some of them are bots. This is an article. This is what was a article, and all I did was actually let me show you. So instead of trying to get you to visualize. Have I brought this up yet? It wasn't the first story. But I shall bring up the tweet now. So let's bring up the tweet. So all I did was take a quote from a section of the article and posted the article. I do that pretty not often, but when I do post articles, that's typically how I do it. I would try to take a quote that kind of encapsulates the entire article so people know instead of just the title. So that's all I did. And the backlash, I guess you can call it backlash of these clear. Now, of course, some of them are bots, but let's see where it's at now. Let me scroll down and see where the comments are now. Let's click on this one. So as you can see here, here 737. Oh, I don't even have the right one up. My bad. Hold on a second. My bad, everybody. This is the one I'm supposed to be on. So let me close this one. All right, so I closed that one so I don't have two of the same up. All right, so now let me show you what I was gonna show you. Click here. You see that there's 737 comments, which is amazing. And it's a simple posting of article. And this is what the title says: U.S. NATO sends tank to fight Russia. Am I still on the... Goodness, hang on a second. Oh, I did prepare this thing. I did set it up. Oh, I didn't think I set it up. So now I open up a new one. Oh, so that's why, because I already had this article set up. So now I'm here. So my bad. I had everything set up, but I thought I didn't get time to bring that one up, and it looks like I did, and that's where we're on. So now I know where we're at. So my apologies to those watching, like, what the hell is CJ doing? But anyway, so I just took a quote from the article, and this is the article. U.S. and NATO send tanks to fight Russia. That's it. I didn't think anything of it. Or yesterday morning. And I posted this, I should say. And as you can see now, I referred to this several times already, but 737 comments. And I don't know how I missed it, but I didn't even notice this until this morning. I didn't notice. So that's a whole day. I knew people like the likes, but I didn't see the number of comments. So this is obviously, in my opinion, bots attacking any Ukraine narrative or anything talking about Ukraine that's not part of the narrative that they want. Because I'm not that popular, believe me. Here's the quote that I put up, though. For the first time since Operation Barbarossa 80 years ago, German-made tanks will cross the Polish border to take part in a shooting war against Russia. This is without a doubt the most reckless and escalatory measure taken by the U.S. and NATO to date. I guess that set people off, because I can't imagine all of them read just based on this. U.S. NATO sent. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So obviously, this quote set them off. Yeah. So 700 and some odd comments, just unreal to me. But let's kind of read through some of them. Pretty funny. Some of them are pretty funny. So yeah, let's read through some of them right now. Actually, since I have it up, is that the knowledge you got in Compton? I thought you guys knew oppression and could tell right from wrong when you see it 10 miles away. That's disappointing, and I'm telling you this as a poll. Okay, well, expected to get a couple of those, right? Let's continue. It's about time, and Germans can be proud. This time they are on the right side. What the hell is happening here? Liberals meltdown. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. So we'll title this Liberals meltdown, because I gotta check my spelling, I guess. Although I don't really care about spelling that much, that's why even if I know it's not spelled right, I'll leave it up. Since we're gaining popularity, I have to be more professional. So I have to start spell checking shit or stuff now. So I'm going to do better at that. So when you see something misspelled, I'll check the comments. I haven't looked at them yet, but I'll check the comments to see. So, all right. So let's continue with some of these comments. All right. Next one. Self-defense isn't escalation. And they have one of those, what is it? NAFO dogs? Is it NAFO? Right? NAFO? I think this is a good example of one of your blackouts. Now, let me see. Was the other one? Yeah, okay. Let's go to the next one. It's showing a crybaby Vladimir Putin, as if I like that Vladimir Putin. Like, this does nothing to me, but this is the picture they're trying to paint, which is insane to me. Crazy. And by the way, what you're seeing me do, I'm posting our episode of the most propagandized country on the planet to some of these people. So that's what I did. Or this episode here, everything Americans know about Russia comes from NATO. So one of these two was posted. But let's get to some more comments here. Shut the F up, tanky. I'm a tanky. And I gave them, of course, the most propagandized country on the planet. But this is it's weird and amazing to me that some people are this invested in the war. This is weird that you have a flag of a not even your country. It's just bizarre to me. You can come in. Just be quiet. It's my middle daughter, Ginger, there. Special delivery from Langley. I'm not sure. Your opinion is trash. This is so bizarre to me. Let's read some more. Not every idiot is a Russian supporter, but every Russian supporter is an idiot. Playful, a play on the NAFO, which is a play on NATO. This lands so well. The most propagandized country on the planet is the United States. That episode lands so well with some of this stuff, but I am blown away by people who are invested. I'm blown away in the troll farm that's invested. I'm blown away in this. people, they are taking polls where the support for this war has gone down. They're acting like, oh, here goes one right here, and there goes this is a NAFO person. So the NAFO group that's who has attacked me. I should, so maybe I'll title that. So Aaron, if you're watching, NAFO sends their hit squad after RBN. I think that might be the title. You could put a NAFO dog and maybe, yeah, I'll think about it. But anyway, yuck! I accidentally read some Russian bullshit. I know this can't be off of them reading the article, but you don't hold back, right? I didn't get that. Oh, that person was responding to that. Let me see. There's plenty more. Hang on a second here. So let's go out. Are you going to cry about it? I posted an article, and this is not even my words. Do we see, and this is the third one. So there was 3 different episodes, and this is the Money Launder of the Year episode I posted to some of these people. Oh, here goes. There's like another meme. This one's, are you stupid or something? And I gave him the most propagandized person. Here was another. The tweet above is verified bullshit Kremlin propaganda. I'm an independent thinker who doesn't trust what the government and mainstream media say. So you think, oh, this person is actually a free thinker. Wait till you see the second part. Literal Russian propaganda. Oh, God, this is just amazing. I gave them the Times Money Launderer of the Year. Democrats call Ukraine aid oversight Russian propaganda. Here's another one. Russian invasion of Ukraine was far more reckless. Now, I could have included, what about the 2014 coup? U.S. back, but why? I just gave them the most propagandized. Hopefully they'll click on it. I doubt it. Won't someone please think about the poor Russian military currently trying to annex territory 1940s style? And I gave them the most propagandized person. Let's see what they said here. Let me see. Not everything is about the U.S. Oh, this is just people. Asset. Yeah, this is people on my side. Look at this. The NAFO dog. That's so funny that they did that. I see you've set aside this special time to humiliate yourself in public. This is an article, people. The fear of anybody having an opinion opposite of what they're being told by NATO, the State Department. This is just it's so striking. It's so, this is eye-opening to me. I didn't realize it was at this level. I did not. That's nice, dear. Now go fuck off. Another NAFO. So this is the NAFO farm. And then they're showing this here. And that. And then I gave them that also. Give that man 2 medals, and it's Vladimir Putin. One for being that stupid, and the other in the case he loses the first. Oh man, this is so hilarious to me. So evidently this is only hilarious to myself. So I guess I can move on. Let me see what everybody else is saying, because this is just crazy to me. Wow. So let's throw this one up. NAFO people don't have the mental capacity to read anything in length or consume things longer than 15 minutes. Because, like I said, there's no way they read this article. There's no way they opened the article and read the article. That's just that didn't happen. So I'm going to come back to this part. Let me drop this line in. A new headset. My ear canals are different, so one itches. So I have to adjust it later. Anyway, that's a little too much information. Let's get here. U.S. and NATO send tanks to fight Russia. Now let's see what they could be reacting to, though, if they did read the article or part of it. This is Andre Damon, and I've read articles from him before. This week, the United Kingdom and Poland announced that they intend to send main battle tanks to fight Russia in Ukraine, opening the way for Germany and the United States to make similar announcements. For the first time since Operation Barbarossa 80 years ago, and I read, this is the quote, German-made tanks will cross the Polish border to take part in a shooting war against Russia. This is, without a doubt, the most reckless and escalatory measure taken by the U.S. and NATO to date. And that was a quote. Let me put this up here. NAFO farm attacks RBN. I think that's a better title, Aaron. NAFO farm attacks RBN. So let's continue to read. And these are the tanks they're showing. The people that are in freezing in the UK. This is where all their money, this is the reason why they're freezing. And let's continue. Let me read the small caption here. Abrams battle tanks stand on rail cars in Lithuania near the Russian border. Oh, this is old Russian tanks, but still, this came from the people of UK, but not from this year. Tanks are offensive, not defensive weapons. Let me say that again. Tanks are offensive, not defensive weapons. They are used to break through enemy entrenchments with the aim of capturing territory. Ukrainian officials have made clear that Western tanks are key to the achievement of their goal in the war, including the reconquest of the Crimea Peninsula held by Russia since 2014. The United States is training hundreds of Ukrainian forces in armored warfare at its base in Bavaria, Germany, carrying out exercises with NATO armored vehicles. The tanks and their crews will leave Germany and enter Ukraine through Poland, where they will be thrown against the Russian front. Modern tanks need vast logistic networks to arm and support them. A single M1 Abrams tank consumes 60 gallons of fuel per hour when deployed. 60 gallons of fuel per hour when deployed. Now, do you see how the United States military military is the biggest polluter? Bigger than over 100 countries combined. I think it's like 130 countries combined. But don't quote me on that because I'm trying to go off memory and I could be wrong a little bit. So let's continue. But 60 gallons of fuel per hour. Still, that is a staggering amount. A staggering amount. I will never recycle with a war machine ragging about the world. They are killing the planet. Do those German tanks come with square mustaches? Comedians. Interesting. There is some people here, government people here. NATO is using this as an excuse to clear out old stock, start buying shiny new weapons. So sending them into a battle zone, is an act of war by definition. What are the tanks going to be used for? So let's continue. These tanks will require a massive train of logistic personnel, and you saw the train in that picture from 2019. Many of them likely to come from the armed forces of NATO countries. Not only the tanks, but their logistics and supply trains will become targets. Each Leopard 2 tank costs approximately $15 million. That is astounding. That is astounding. Oh, let's read Frank's super chat. Read. Nah, reading and knowing history is not the American way. MLK was hit with the bots when he began to attack capitalism in their war in Vietnam. Thank you so much for the comment and the super chat, Frank. And I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat to make sure I don't miss anything here. But let's continue the article. Then I'm going to come back to some of these this NAFO farm that just went completely ballistic, but $15 million. Each Leopard 2 tank costs approximately 15 for those listening, million dollars. What could that be used for? So one tank could do what? One tank could feed how many people? One tank could build how many homes? One tank. This is Compton Goon My Eyes. You don't want to miss me. I see you in the chat all the time. I figure you're the fun person. You're giving the chat laughter. So I do see. So let's continue. The protection of these weapon systems, not to mention the troops that will serve and supply them, will become a vital military necessity for NATO. And you have to keep this going. You have to create this infrastructure to support the tanks. More money. Cha-ching. The US and NATO have stacked their credibility on the outcome of the war, which is ever more explicitly defined as the military defeat and dismemberment of Russia. The logic of the conflict requires, therefore, an even greater escalation. With its armored columns and supply lines threatened by Russian weapons and air power, either inside Ukraine or over the Polish border, the creation of a no-fly zone will again be mooted in the American press as a vital necessity to protect the commitment that has already been made. This would mean that in the name of defending its military assets, U.S. and NATO pilots and SAM operators would be engaged in shooting down Russian warplanes. Understand, the fly zone would be to protect the tanks because they would become targets. Just the transportation of the tanks into wherever their destination become targets. So then a no-fly zone, this would mean in the name of defending its military asset, the tanks, U.S. and NATO pilots and SAM operators would be engaged in shooting down Russian warplanes, kicking off a direct shooting war between the U.S. and NATO and Russia. This is the prospect for which the American and European populations is being signed up for without their knowledge by governments that promise to avoid World War III and nuclear Armageddon. Do we see what's happening here? Our government is just marching us down the road, marching towards WW 1, 2, 3. Check the spelling for me. All right, let's continue. In an expression of reckless and provocative character of the NATO's action, the New York Times wrote, quote, over the last few weeks, one barrier after another has fallen, end quote. As, quote again, the United States and its allies take on more risk to defend Ukraine. In a lead editorial advocating sending main battle tanks to Ukraine, The Economist wrote, quote, another worry is that if Russia is pushed too far or too fast, its president, Vladimir Putin, could escalate it and, in the worst case, even trigger a nuclear war. These are not baseline fear or baseless fears. We're being marched to nuclear Armageddon. As people are going homeless, as prices are permanent. They call it inflation, but these prices will never go down. That's the thing about it. It never goes back down. So, but anyway, prices of food, eggs, milk, basic things, hard to find. But we can supply $15 million tanks. One tank could feed how many people? One tank can build how many homes? $15 million for one tank. The Economist argues for sending tanks despite the danger. And here's a quote. If Mr. Putin concludes that his nuclear threats won him this victory, it would set a terrible precedent. Let me say that again. This is their quote. If Mr. Putin concludes that his nuclear threats won him this victory, it would be a terrible precedent. So we're advocating in The Economist for nuclear Armageddon. They're saying, this sounds just like a bully. If you take Putin's threat of he's going to use nuclear arms, and you back down and let him win this war, that set a terrible precedent. Peace sets a terrible precedent. It adds, quote, yielding to Mr. Putin's nuclear threat today sets up more perilous, that word, standoffs tomorrow. These fools got the audacity. Okay, so the imperialist war planners assume that they can intensify their engagement in the war without a Russian response. But if Washington isn't afraid of the consequences of nuclear war, why do its war planners seem to believe the Kremlin will be? In fact, the economist argument applies with greater force to the Russian side than to the NATO side, because it is the Kremlin and not Washington or Berlin that is confronted with the prospect of regime change. If the Economist editorial board were on the Russian side, what would it be saying? Quote, I guess this is a fictitious quote. If NATO concludes that military escalation won it a victory, it would set a terrible precedent. He's basically, the article is flipping the same quote. If NATO concludes the military escalation that they're doing won them a victory against Putin, doesn't it set a terrible precedent? Why wouldn't they just continue moving forward? And here, after all, yielding to NATO's escalation today sets up more perilous standoffs tomorrow. This, in other words, is an argument for Russia to respond to NATO's escalation by launching an attack on NATO or a nuclear attack on Ukrainian forces. The more the US and NATO escalate, the less reason for Russia to avoid escalating. I'm going to stop there with the article and get back. This is crazy, everybody. This is insane. And so now let me alter what I said earlier. That NAFO farm knew exactly what was in this article, why they went after me. So let's go back to that. Oop. I don't think I had to. This one. Not that one. So I think I have found it here. Okay, here we go. I think I just have to hit the back button here to go back to the tweet. Or go back to Twitter, I should say. I forget what the tweet, or we were looking at this. Now let me readjust what I said earlier. The NAFO farm, which is likely supported by the U.S. government, saw this article, and they probably monitored the World Socialist website. So they knew about this article. So they knew when this article is posted on Twitter, I would bet that anyone who posted that article got a similar response. Maybe not the same amount, but got the similar response, because they know what's in this article. They know what this article is exposing here. That the UK and the United States will follow along with Germany. Sending tanks is an escalation because it requires a no-fly zone, and it requires NATO forces, U.S. and NATO forces, to shoot down, and SAM operators to shoot down any sort of attack from Russia. How is this supposed to end? So, like I said, this was likely a direct assault. I mean, not likely. You can see it. This NATO troll farm that went after me. So let's read a couple more comments on here. This is sort of amazing to me. Let me get to a new comment. Okay, this was one of the last ones. Let's see. Okay, here goes a new one. Welcome to Fail Population U. Here goes one. Won't someone please think of the poor Russian military currently? Oh, that's the last one we left off with. Okay, so here, this is where we were at. All right. Actually, I missed some of these. Just amazing. Let's see. I'm skipping the ones I already read. I don't think they put them back in order. Here is Apollo. I'm not touching you. And this is NATO and Russia. Great tweet. Shout out Apollo, who's one of our social media people for RBN. Well, I guess Russia can leave Ukraine then. Wow, so knowledge, such smart, very educated, much clever. Would you like some cheese with your wine? Reckless is to stand by and do nothing. That's what reckless is. How a country joins NATO, how a country joins Russia. Oh, we are the most propagandized country on the freaking... We saw that one earlier. Planet. I think I read that one earlier too. Yeah. Here goes one. The Ukrainians will accomplish what General George Patton advocated in World War II. You're surely mean the most epic based and awesome measure taken by the US and NATO to date. And I didn't vote for this. The downfall of Russia is on its way. God, these people. On the other hand, if our soldiers are all fighting World War III, they're not available to sit on us for martial law. I'm not even sure what that is. Here goes another one. This is the worst day of the war. Worst day of the war so far. How about condemning the people who started this war of conquest, the Russians, rather than whining about those standing up to this aggression? So obviously some people think that quote I put from the article was me talking. Maybe. Or do you always side with bullies, thieves, rapists, murderers, and kidnappers? Is she talking about the forefathers? Who is she talking about here? Bullies, thieves, rapists, murderers, and I could have swore she was talking about the forefathers there. Oh, let's see if she replied to me putting the... I said she... No, mean person. I don't know if that's a she actually. Lame. All right. A condom would have prevented this. Durex. Oh man, that's one of my favorites. U.S. NATO will get Zelensky to fight until the last Ukrainian. How do the Polish feel about this? Slowly but surely, this is going to be our last year. Good night and good luck. A lot of speculation and fear-mongering in that article. So this person read the article, I guess, but didn't really read the article, I guess, because we just read it and didn't come back with that. All right, so I think we can end here because this wasn't even supposed to be that thing. Let's see. Are they still kind of commenting? No. Okay, so they are not. All right, so I'll just checking to see. So why don't we now go to announcements so we can get to our first story. So that was the introduction. So let's get to some announcements, everybody. Substack is the way to go if you want to get notifications from when we go live. If you want to get notifications of our clips, we uploaded 2 clips earlier today, and I think we're going to upload one later tonight. If you want to get these types of notifications, join our Substack. Also, if you want to join our Discord, there's two ways. The free pathway is joining our Substack. Those our Substack subscribers get the link. Or any of our paying members on Patreon, the link is sent to you also. So that's the way to get the link. I wonder what I said, because this stream has been demonetized. I wonder what I said. Could it be the talk of the war talk? This war machine, they serious about their money. They're serious about their money. You ain't messing up their money train at all with this truth. You ain't messing it up. All right, so join a Substack, or join our Substack if you want those notifications, or Discord. Let's like the stream, everyone. We're at 200 likes, 300, a little over 300 people watching. Can we go to 375 or 275? 75 more people. Hit that like button. And I think I am going to do, since I'm on Twitter, I think I'm going to bring up the Ryan story. Let's do the Ryan story. This is the thread here. Now this is where it's all started, and then I'll get to Ryan's part that we posted on Twitter. If you want to see his tweet, I'm going to get to that in just a second. So, but this is where it starts. So we're going to do Ryan CIA tactics. And I'm going to bring up that actually Ryan's what? Oh, this is what I was going to say. Ryan plays Captain Save. I got to keep using it. Save breaking points this time, though. So, all right. So the next segment, Aaron will be Ryan plays Captain Save 8 breaking points. And also I'll say Ryan Grimm uses CIA tactics. Now, we're liking a video. Remember, 75 more. We're trying to get to 275, everybody. And the next segment coming up is Ryan Grimm's CIA tactics. That is the next one coming up. But we are still liking the stream, and I'm going to throw up some of your comments while we're trying to get to 275 likes. I will try to get to that before we end. That is a classic. That is a classic. The video from Turncoat Dawn. Let's see some of your. Yep. Demonetized due to too much truth and facts on display. True that. True that. U.S. soldiers are still in Syria. Do Ukrainians want USA to leave Syria? That would be ironic. These joyless warmongers are so soft, so fragile, so pathetic. Putin and Xi busy making the new game. BRICS. Expect more NAFO, CJ. They're losing and desperate. Thanks for the heads up, though. Hey, CJ. What's up? So Sabby did not do call-in today? I don't think she did. I didn't see a posting, at least. Unless she posted it since I've been live. I didn't see one. I love how zero flux CJ gives to all that lame critique. It's I don't take these stuff serious. These aren't real people. And brainwashed people, like I treat them like they're like zombies. Like, you're a zombie. Like what am I gonna do? You don't even realize what you're saying is stupid. You know what's worse than a stupid person? A stupid person who thinks they're smart. So I just stay out of it. But I find it funny, some of the things they say. I find like you're this bought into this propaganda that you're doing this. Yeah. But Ryan plays captain save a breaking points. Now it might be better to use Ryan Grimm CIA tactics. Let me actually bring up Nick's CIA tactics here so I can have it and go to the one or two that apply to him. So the one or two that apply to him, let's look. Socialist, MMA, CIA, infiltration. I think that's how you spell it. Here we go. I need to bookmark this. So let me bookmark it and then I'm going to bring it up to you, to everybody here. So copy, tweet, and let's go to this first. And Aaron, we're going to start the segment from here. We're going to start with CIA infiltration tactics first. So let's read the one that applies to Ryan in the tweet that we're going to be examining that I showed you. So let's read it here. So here is Nick's tweet. And let's read what he says. This is why I keep telling people it's important to learn the CIA infiltration techniques they use. It's one of the most important things you can know as a lefty in the US. Talk as frequently as possible and at great lengths. Doesn't that apply to Ryan? Doesn't he take long? Isn't that one of the things that people say about him? Oh, he's long and boring. CIA tactic. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. And he does that in the tweet we're going to respond to today. Haggle over precise wording. Like literally all of these could be put on to Ryan, some more than others. Refer back to matters decided upon. Literally. Be worried about the propriety of any decision. Talk as frequently as possible and at great lengths. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. Haggle over precise wording. That's what we're going to be kind of... those are the kind of tactics that's used in this, what we're going to be discussing today. Those are the tactics by the CIA infiltration, and that was released because of FOIA. FOIA requests that these were even released. So I'm not saying he's a CIA agent. I'm not saying he's a CIA asset. But whether you are for the CIA, but if you're using their tactics, this is why I say you're using CIA tactics. Okay. So I'm not saying he's not any of those asset or agent either. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he is. I'm just simply saying the tactics being used are. And let's read. So this is what I posted. Just a simple, I did a stream on this already, and then the clip has already been uploaded. Just talking about how Crystal Ball is getting destroyed in the comments of Breaking Points by Breaking Point's own audience. And I did tag Ryan a thread, and this is what I wrote: receipts of Crystal Ball being called out by Breaking Point's audience is brutal. I tag Beyonce and Jay-Z and aka Crystal and Kyle. And then people aren't buying what Ryan and Crystal are selling. It's glorious to watch, and it is. I only put up 9 of the comments. I could have literally have put up 40 easily. And that's not even half, scratching the surface. So I could have put up more, but I put up 9 because it was a lot. But everyone was getting commented on. But so let's just read some of the comments that pissed Ryan off. Here's one. Crystal should really try to get back on MSNBC where she could pretend to be anti-establishment. This show is really not worth watching anymore. And on their own, this is their comments. I screenshotted it. I screenshot it and posted it. 186 likes. So I guess these are the things. These are the things that's, getting to Ryan. 1,100 likes that guy. Second one, and I tagged them in all of them. So part 2, sort of like with the Twitter files, 1, 2, 3. Part 2, receipts of Crystal Ball being called out. Same thing, tag them. People aren't buying it, and tag Ryan Grimm. Here's the second one. Breaking points is slipping. If the squad had done this and they didn't, I think it should be, they would be celebrated Americans. Screw who brought the fight. It was brought in concessions most Americans agree with, like term limits, debt ceiling, the border, and taking away the speaker's power that old Nance protected herself with were given. How is that bad? Quickly losing confidence in this channel and sadly Crystal Ball. Now the first one got 1,100, but this, just a comment, 200. That's not bad. 3, and it's the same caption, so I don't need to keep reading it. Crystal Ball is such a uniparty shield. She defends the squad's lack of action. And I'll continue because I cut that one off. 4, thought I was watching an MSNBC segment. 5, and here I was gonna comment about how Crystal was being a blatant partisan, but there's already 1,000 people beat me to it. And that's what I'm talking. It was like hundreds. This one here, Crystal, quote, it's only a real rebellion when the people I like do it, end quote. 7, Crystal trying every way to cover for the squad is so sad. 8, Jimmy Soar, I think they mean Door, is 1,000% correct about Crystal. It's not that she's clueless. She is just corrupt. 9, last one, translation. The squad blew their chance to do this, so I got to dump on these Republicans, even though they got concessions. That got almost 200 likes. And now let's go to Ryan tweet here. Here goes his. Okay, so now remember what the tweet was. Remember what it was. I tweeted about how nobody's buying the narrative that they're pushing. Think of the CIA tactics. Now, the response would be like, what narrative do you mean I'm pushing, CJ? You mean the narrative of progressive Democrats? And he could have went on something like that. This is what he says instead. Is this not bringing up something irrelevant? If your entire audience is just an amen choir, you're doing it wrong. Breaking Points is about airing out different perspectives. That really hurt to even say that. This sentence here, I'm just gonna let you see. I'm not gonna read it again. Some people can't handle that. There are shows for them that won't challenge them. They should watch those. That is just a joke. That is just he's clearly joking here. Not serious at all. Actually, let's see what people say. Fair enough diversion from Grimjob. Has anyone else noticed in some indie left comments section it was because somewhat of an echo chamber? We can do better, not needlessly attack, but we should have more good faith debates. There are always going to be trolls, but these are former followers that are telling you how far you have fallen. Self-reflection isn't one of Ryan's strengths. Let's go to one that I was retweeting. Now, here is Rome's reply, and then he replies to Rome. No, we have a diverse audience. The thing is, we aren't lying to the point we're getting called out and ratioed by them. Y'all should feel bad because y'all are bad people and can't be trusted. That's Rome directly. You can't get any more direct than that. You really can't get any more direct than that. Being called out as fake isn't just a difference of opinion. Let's see here. Crystal is supposed to be the left perspective. If she agrees with corporate Dems, what's different about her views? Great question. Can I crow juice, CJ? You're doing it. You're doing it. She's like the moderate liberal in that she waters some very important stuff down, and they're bad at international issues. Yeah, very bad. Breaking points is like a politician, no receipts for a crappy position or logic. Breaking point, challenging the establishment, question mark? Yeah, I didn't get that either. That's on a different topic. Yes, I am. I'm struggling to read some of this stuff that he's saying because it's clearly not airing out different perspectives. Yeah. What different perspectives are you talking about? And let me go to a point that I made because to this point, and I'm going to come back to Rome's tweet because I quote tweeted him here. Let's go to mine. And I think the point fits here. Here's mine here. Somehow, Ryan, you are a progressive journalist, but on breaking points, you are the conservative perspective. Just nonsense. Now think about that. How is that even possible? That they go to him as the progressive journalist, progressives go to him to give him stories, but on breaking points, he's the conservative on the conservative show. He's a conservative perspective. I don't understand that. Yeah, that's B and Jay-Z, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yes. Yeah. I haven't heard a debate on that show for well over a year. Of course not. Of course not. Breaking points pretty bad with the backpedal, but look like that was always our position. All right, let's go back to the tweet that where we left off. I think it was what? Rome. And where is Rome? Or maybe not. Oh, sorry. I need to go here and then go from down. All right, so and now let's see. You remember what Rome said? Now we have a diverse audience, and then he ends with, "Y'all should feel bad because y'all are bad people and can't be trusted." This is his reply. In our interview, you said that lying is a good thing if it's in the service of working class propaganda. That's fine for you to build your show like that, but there are other ways to do it. Here's where we can see the dishonesty of Ryan Grimm and how we know that this is proof he works for the ruling class, because he blatantly misleads people with this, even though on this face value, I have no problem with Rome saying that either. If this was true, the problem is this happened on video. We just have to go back to the video with Ryan. And let's go to that point. And I think that's Zoya here making the point. Zoya's love. And let me see if Zoya's here. Sometimes she's here in the comments. Breaking Pants. Grimm likes the humiliation. He's to take the incoming fire. He's here to take incoming fire and to put it on himself and take it away from someone else. That's the role that he plays. Okay, so let's go to what Zoya says here. This is why Ryan is bad faith. He's misquoting Rome's flippant remark out of context to mislead people into believing it's the thesis of the show. And you see, like, you think Ryan Grimm wasn't in the interview where he knows it was a joke, or it was a flippant response? You think Ryan Grimm, but the way he's painting it here, you see how journalism is used to lie. He's a journalist with the skill of writing things in a certain way to give a certain perspective that is completely different. And we have the video to show you what he's doing here. Because you see the quote here, but good friend of the show, Zoya is Love, has a video. He lied about forced to vote. He lied about March for Medicare for All. Why does a rich journalist keep constantly punch down at powerless activists? Here,
big, small, medium, we all are echo chambers. Niggas.
So let me make it larger. So she cuts the video. Let's watch it.
We all are in echo chambers, whether they big, small, medium. We all are in echo chambers. Niggas in the hood don't know who Jimmy Dore is. They don't know who you is. You know what I'm saying? People don't know who K-Hive is. They don't even know Revolutionary Blackout. And once this shit leaves Twitter, nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? So these echo chambers, everybody talking about this person, talking about this stuff. It's going to last for about a week and it's going to die down because something else is going to happen. Somebody else is going to be starving. Some other bomb is dropping in Ukraine or whatever. So I just figure I'll say this. Fuck all politicians. Lie if you have to. Use propaganda against them. They lied and said that they had black support. They lied. They lied on us.
Now, how would you take that comment? Do you think the way Ryan Grimm described it in his tweet, would you call that being accurate? You just heard from yourself. In our interview, you said that lying is a good thing if it's in the service of working class people. That's fine for you to build your show like that, but there are other ways to do it.
Echo chambers. Niggas in the hood don't know who Jimmy, Ukraine or whatever. So I just figure I'll say this. Fuck all politicians. Lie if you have to. Use propaganda against them. They lied and said that they had black support. They lied. They lied on us, right? They lied about the kids in cages. They lied about protecting them. They lie on us all the fucking time. So lie on them. Do whatever you can to spread your propaganda against our enemies. Those are our enemies.
We do see it as war, Ryan. And I'm gonna Ryan, we do see it as a war, like really warfare, at least RBN. So I know you're it's about time for you to go. So I'll say this and then give you the final word. And as you leave us, this is the contradiction on the left. And when you come back, you say you're willing to come back. We'll schedule that maybe next week or in a couple of weeks. The contradiction is that it's like what's important to people on the left, but not in the lowest class. What's important to them is not the things that's going to reach the lowest people. So the strategy of the left, and the thing is, the professional managerial class has an out. What I go on to say is that they have an outsized influence on what happens on the left. Now,
we all are in.
Oh, sorry, when I scrolled up, it played Rome again. So let me. I guess I gotta pause this. So Zoya puts that. Now look at Ryan. Did you listen to this? So CIA tactic. You see, he's trying to clear. Now we all heard what Rome said. Nobody was thinking, oh yeah, Rome is that. Nobody thought that until Ryan Grimm says, "Did you listen?" Now he's trying to act like, what do you mean? The video proof. Now he's trying to act like that. This guy's a chaos agent. He's here to obscure reality, just like Shama Sawant said. That's what he's here to do. Add confusion. Obscure the reality of things. He'll look at something. He'll look at the same thing you looking at. You say that's blue, and he says that's not blue. That could be something else. Let's think about it. It kind of looks blue, but what if he's here to add confusion? He's literally, nothing he says should be trusted. None of his journalism should be trusted. It cannot be trusted whatsoever. We are seeing it in real time, how he develops his lies. Like, let me just get to some other comments here because it's amazing. Yeah, and then Rome just goes ahead and says what he says in the video. I said it's okay to lie about politicians because they lie on the proletariat, and we shouldn't even give a fuck about their feelings. But of course, you're a Captain Save a politician, right, Ryan? Then he says right here, we have a genuine disagreement. This is just two sides, is what he's trying to say. I think lying about... Now, let's go back to CIA tactics. Remember what the original topic was? What did he interject into this conversation? Lying about politicians, right? Now we're talking about lying about politicians. So let's go back to... Oops. the CIA tactics here. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. This guy, Ryan Grimm, he should be tarred and feathered. Call him out. Call him out of his name. People like this who unapologetically and gleefully and gleefully protect the status quo, politicians, propaganda networks like the Breaking Points that just prop up the same narrative of the status quo. They deserve whatever name calling, whatever cancellation in public, whatever you want to call it. That's what they deserve. They're not one of us. These are infiltrators. So, oh, I was going to go back to the tweet. My bad, everybody. I went back too far. Here we go. Actually not here. I clicked the wrong thing. Let's go back to bookmarks. Because I think I have a bookmark. We shall see. That's the infiltration tactics. And here we go. Now, sorry. She has another video here. Yeah. Lion Ryan. You can say that again. Man, this guy is terrible. Yeah, he's just there to take the pounding. He's there to absolve all that energy and extract it away from Breaking the Points, extract it away from Crystal Ball, extract it away from the squad, extract it away from AOC, whoever he's protecting at the time. But let's listen. Let's read the second tweet Zoya brought up in video, and then we're going to end this segment. Ryan Grimm said on RBN, quote, "I appreciate the back and forth, and you guys make a fair point on the class analysis, so you're not wrong. But on Twitter, he's misrepresenting RBN's position, relying on you to never fact checked him. Relying on you to never fact. So that's what he's relying on, for you never to fact check him. So let's see if I think the ideology, the strategy of the left. So let's listen to what he says here, or what we say here. An outsized effect on the ideology, the strategy of the left. So, like, we're being led by these ideas that's never, ever. And they admit it. David Sirota, Marianne Williamson, they all say electoral politics is not about fixing all of these major things, but that's the people we're here to say, no more grandfathering these people in. No more 2 years, no more 4 years. We have to start taking care of them and advocating for them now. So that's my perspective, RBN's perspective.
We definitely got we definitely had the conversation again later, because
tell your friends.
We had there's still a lot I gotta ask you. It was a good conversation. I'm glad you come on. I give you props for that.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who just
tell your friends
they would never come on. So
tell your friends.
I still personally got a lot of
you guys failed. You guys failed. You was wrong about forced to vote. You can admit that. Yes, you was wrong about forced to vote. Republicans are enabling.
Let him say his last verse. So
what I'm going to say is this.
Let
us lead. Let us lead. That's all I want to say. Have a good day.
And the only thing I was about to say, anyway, go ahead, Ryan, because we got to have a conversation later. I was about to say something.
No. We can do another time.
We can do another time.
I appreciate the back and forth, and you guys make a fair point on the class analysis. Like you're not wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
fair enough, fair enough, Ron.
I grew up dirt poor, but I've had a good last like 15 years or so.
I grew up dirt poor. I've had a good last 15 years. So now I'm going to sell out those motherfuckers where I came from. Yeah.
And so like I'm further and further away from that.
Yeah. So
Like,
you like Dr. Dre. Saying Dr. Dre was poor. Now he's not. Yeah. I think we can end there this segment. This guy has been fully exposed. Of course, people in the managerial class are not going to give up Ryan Graham. He's part of their infrastructure. They bring him on the show all the time. Now he's part of Breaking Points. You think they're about to give that up? Let's see. Zoya tweeted something here. Okay, so that's not for me. All right. So I was reading one of her tweets, so I was wondering if she was tweeting that out for me. All right, so this is where we're going to end this segment, but I want to bring up the next one. And the next one shan't be Twitter files. Is this the one I wanted to do? There's two. Hold on. Maybe that was it. Okay, so maybe that was it. All right, so yeah, we're gonna cover briefly the Twitter files or some of the latest Twitter files that has come out. So let me put that up. So latest Twitter files. That shall be the next segment. But first, we'll do a midstream announcement. Just kind of give everybody the same information that we did earlier, but for some new people that may be watching, join our Substack if you want to get notifications when we go live or when we have clips sent out. You can get notifications of that also. Just join our Substack. You also get the link to the Discord and all of our Patreon. So if you're a Patreon member or want to be one, you can see at the bottom there scrolling support RBN, and it's the Patreon URL. You can support us on Patreon. You also get the Discord link through Patreon. The other thing is this is our website URL, so you can go check it out. Let us know if there's any errors, and you can let us know by contacting us at our new email. We no longer have Gmail. Oops. Our new email, info@revblacknetwork.com. Last thing, like the stream, we have 355 people watching, 300 likes. Can we go? Let's just do another 50 likes. So let's get 50 more people to hit that like button. I'll toss up some comments as you hit the like button before the next segment here. Let's see here. Shama destroyed him without giving him anything he could later use against her. Yeah, there's nothing in that whole thing that she can. Hey, she said this. Nothing. Broken points with Ryan Grimm. If you're keeping up with the economics, the capitalists are admitting that poverty is required for capitalism. Yes, there's been several people that's made recent comments in the last week or so to that effect. Ryan's job is to make sure that people like Rome never lead. I am very triggered by him now. Me too, as you can see over the last since that interview to now. I don't got time for that guy. So RBN gonna invite him back. I'm not. I don't need to talk to that again, but I'm talking to him again. But he's welcome to talk to Nick. Nick may talk to him, or Rome, or JB, or Sabi. And Sabi did after that interview. Sabi talked to him again. So, oh, okay. Let me see. There's a super chat. Somebody says here. So let me scroll all the way. up. I'm still scrolling and nothing yet. Oh, this must have been when I was reading the article. Wow. Let's see. Remember, we're liking the stream, trying to get to 2 or 3. I can't. It was 50 more likes. I can't remember the final, but 50 more people hitting that like button. Don't see one yet, and I see it now. Is having a terrible haircut on the list of CIA infiltration tactics? I would have to say yes. Have you noticed there's a lot of CIA infiltration people have bad haircuts? That's funny. Very funny, but thank you for the super chat and thank you for reminding me. Good to give me that heads up. All right, so let's get to the Twitter files. Latest Twitter files here. Let's first go to Matt Tahibi's page first here. So this is the one I wanted to do here. The Twitter files, the Russiagate lies. So I like that better. So Russiagate lies. Russiagate lies. I think that's how you spell it. Yeah. Let's get to it. Blow this up a little bit. Thread, Twitter Files 14, the Russiagate files. 1, the fake tale of Russian bots and the release the memo hashtag. 2, at a crucial moment in a years long fervor, Democrats denounced a report about flaws in the Trump-Russia investigation, saying it was boosted by Russian bots and trolls. Hang on a second here. Alrighty. The initial one was right. So we're going to reset this here. Okay, so we're going to reset this here. So my bad, Aaron. So we're going to start here now. So now we're going to start. All right, so here's the latest Twitter files here. So the other one I just showed, so we already did a segment on that. And because I was reading, I was like, wait, I already read this. So this is the one. This is the supplement of the Adam Schiff stuff. So the Twitter file supplement more Adam Schiff ban request and de-amplification. So this is Adam Schiff. Staff of House Democrat Adam Schiff wrote to Twitter quite often, asking that tweets be taken down. This important use of taxpayer resources involved and asked about a Peter Duche parody photo of Joe Biden. The DNC made the same request. So the DNC and Adam Schiff made the request to take this down. Sloppy Joe Biden trending. I wonder if it's because of this. You can tell it's a deep fake because Jill Biden isn't covering for him. And then there's this. You see them making the email. So that's the tweet. Then this person, Stacy, and I can't really make out their name, Cardell or Cardilli, sends an email to Twitter asking for this to be taken down. So that's the tweet. I'm going to show the receipts this time. The real issue was Donald Trump retweeted the Biden pic. That was the real issue. To its credit, Twitter refused to remove it, with Trust and Safety Chief Ewell Roth saying it had obvious humorous intent, and any reasonable observer, apparently not Schiff staffer, could see it was doctored. And they have the receipts here to show that communication. 4, Schiff staffer Jeff Lowenstein didn't give up, claiming there was a slippery slope concern here. And here is that receipt. Twitter also refused requests for bans of content about Schiff and his staff. Quote, complete suppression on of any and all search results about Mr. Misko and other committee staffers. Twitter said this would not be conceivable. And let me read this one. For they're listed as demands in the attached PDF, many fall outside of any remediation available under the cited policy. For example, a sweeping removal of any and all content about Mr. Misko and other committee staff from its service to include quotes, retweets, and reactions to that content, as well as complete suppression any and all searches results about Mr. Misko and other committee staff is not something that would be able to be done here or is conceivable by any active policy I know of. So you know how you get banned and then they don't really give you a reason? That happened to me. I got suspended. They didn't really give me a reason, and that was it. Because this account I got now, Compton made me on Twitter, that wasn't my original account. So when you don't have those logical reasons on, like, wait a minute, what did I do? And why is this a violation? And it's like no logical reason behind it. It was simply a request that was fulfilled. And let's continue. Or did I read this one? Sorry. 6, even when Twitter didn't suspend an account, that didn't mean they didn't act. Schiff office repeatedly complained about, quote, QAnon-related activity, end quote, that were often tweets about other matters, like the identity of the Ukraine whistleblower or the Steele dossier. Sean, and they're talking about the guy. This is Spanish, sorry. That's in Spanish. Oh, they're giving the example of how it was. Okay, so you see the receipts there. I don't want to read all of that. 7, Twitter policy at the time didn't ban QAnon, but de-amplified such accounts. About the batch of tweets that included those above, Twitter executives wrote, quote, we can internally confirm that a number of the account's flags are already included in this de-amplification. The ruling class just cannot stay out of our recreation. Twitter is like for entertainment. They just cannot stay out of everything we have. 8, Schiff's office had concern about de-amplification, though. It might make it harder for law enforcement to track the offending tweeter. 9, quote, we greatly appreciate. We are curious whether any de-amplification measures implemented by Twitter's enforcement team, which we appreciate greatly, could impede the ability of law enforcement to search Twitter for potential threats about Misko, I think I'm saying that right, and other HPSCI staff. 10, for more, watch, and then they give a list of people. Twitter had no editorial input. Searches were carried out by third parties, so the documents could be limited. Now, oops, where am I? 10. Oh, maybe that's it. All right, so that was a short update, but there are some other ones. Not another full string. But I'm curious to some of the stuff that people are pushed back on him. Some of he's answering some of it. So I want to kind of go over those also in this segment. So let's see here. So the White House keeps digging a hole deeper. They have failed to answer so many questions, which is very strange. If this is all an innocent mistake. Oh, this is about sorry. This is about something else. I want to get to the Twitter files. That's a Twitter file, but that's not the one I'm looking for. My apologies. This is one of them. And here's another one. So he's getting a lot of, he's a right winger. So here's one of them. For those who continue to insist exposing the lies of Russiagate is a right wing trope, here's Jacobin reporting on the recent NYU study that, of course, was largely ignored. I'm assuming that's of course. And here's Jacobin. It turns out Hillary Clinton, not Russia bots, lost the 2016 election. So that's the point that he's making. You're calling it a right. So him pointing out the truth about Russiagate not being real. How's that just pointing that out? This whole blue-red game team shit is just out of hand. Let's go to another one that he calls out. So here's another one. So Hillary Clinton, a former senator, supports blocking the oversight powers of Congress based on what we've shown in the Twitter files were fantasies about Russiagate collusion. She needs to answer questions about the role her campaign played in manufacturing a public panic. And we all remember this video from her where he's in the back like, man, did I marry this person?
Will stop at nothing. And yes, the Russians helped them last time. The Russians are helping them now. And you cover the White House. You know that the White House has said, don't brief the Congress. Don't even tell them in classified settings what the Russians are doing this time. And these people will stop.
This is more, it's also personal for her. Russiagate is also personal for her because it proves in her mind, that's why she lost. That's how she lost to a clown in Donald Trump. Getting to another, he does these where he answers people here and there. So I'm scrolling to the next one, but he has some good ones here. Here's another one here. And what? Oh, I'm not gonna read that one. Let's use this one here. It's weird to watch the sprawling Russiagate interference operation in 2016, which involved multiple GRE units engaging in criminal sabotage with the aim of electing Donald Trump and allowing full Russia annexation of Crimea and the Donbass get reconed into a story about bots. And Matt responds to that with this, and this will be the last one for this segment. It's odd to watch media figures who blew the Trump Russiagate story in the most humorous way act like they didn't. Here are clips of you scoffing in the wake of Nunes' memo at anyone foolish enough to mistrust the FBI. And I don't need to play those, but that's a pretty good comeback by Matt Taibbi. And I think we're gonna cut it there, Aaron, for that segment. And then we have two shorter segments here before we kind of head out, because I only got a few minutes. Let me see if there's anything else planned here. I don't know if there's something else scheduled. Let me see. Nothing else is scheduled. Okay, so I don't have a hard end. Next thing I'm going to bring up is this one. this kind of went viral on, not viral, but a lot of people tweeted about it. Retweeted when I posted it on Twitter. So I thought, I mean, I was going to cover it anyway, but I didn't realize the popularity of the topic. People are waking up and just fed up with the police killings, and this is another story about it. So let's set up this story here. Police do that. LA police killed 3 in 24 hours, and we're going to start it here, Aaron. Here is the headline. Los Angeles police began new year killing 3 people in just over 24 hours. Just astonishing. LA. Just going to make that banner a little bit bigger. Sorry. So make this banner a little bit bigger. LA police killed 3 in 24 hours. And let's dive into the article. Let me make sure I have the right one up. Let's close some of these here. Close that one. Close that one. I think close that one, right? Okay. All right. So this one written by Jacob Cross. In just over 24 hours between January 2nd and January 3rd, 2023, police officers with the Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, were involved in 3 separate use of force incidents that left 3 men dead. No police were injured in any of the incidents, and none of the men killed by the police were armed with a gun. The frequency of killings, coupled with the violent actions of officers, forced LA Police Chief Michael Moore to release selectively edited body cam footage on Wednesday in an attempt to tamper down rising popular anger at the unending wave of police violence in the country's second largest city and across the United States. While it is the policy of the Los Angeles Police Department to release body cam footage within 45 days, the police decided to release the footage just as Moore was giving his first public press conference on the incidents on Wednesday. In each deadly encounter, the police are shown refusing to employ or even discuss bringing in social workers or mental health units to assist, even though in each incident, the eventual victim exhibited clear signs of mental distress. And these are the victims. Our taxpayer dollars are essentially going to kill fellow U.S. citizens. And Reddit did another segment a few days ago where 2022 had is on record as the most killings on record in the United States, and this is after the George Floyd protests. What was I just about to do here? So it's terrible. Anyway, let's continue here. I forgot what I was going to do there. From left to right, Keenan Anderson, 31, Oscar Leon Sanchez, 35, and Takar Smith, 45. One of the men killed by police was Keenan Anderson, a 31-year-old teacher and father. Anderson encountered police after he was involved in a traffic incident in Los Angeles on July 3rd. In the body camera footage released by police, it begins with Anderson jogging towards a motorcycle cop and motioning to him where the incident had taken place. The cop, following Anderson's directions, arrived at the scene of the incident. As the cops arrived, the other people involved in the incident tell him that Anderson was one of the drivers involved in the incident. The cop immediately turns around and sees that Anderson is in the crosswalk and tells him to go and sit on the sidewalk. Anderson complies, but in an obvious indication of mental distress, tells the cop that somebody is trying to kill me. While the next part of the footage is edited, the tape that was released shows Anderson repeatedly apologizing to and being extremely cooperative with the police. In the edited footage, which covers a span of roughly 8 minutes, Anderson remains on his knees or sitting on his rear with his hands either behind his back or on top of his head or in front of him, talking to police. At no point does Anderson brandish a weapon or threaten the police. After roughly 8 minutes, Anderson appears to be more agitated and eventually stands up and tells the cop he needs to get some water. He continues to exhibit signs of mental distress, telling the police, quote, "Somebody got to see me, sir," while at the same time beginning to walk away from police. Even as he begins to walk and eventually runs away from police, Anderson keeps his hands raised and with his palms open. And it continues. I'm not going to go through the story. I can just show you the video, but I'm not going to show you the video. I'm going to just show you the picture, and here is where you can see it here. This is I'm sorry, this is a tase. This is just terrible. So yeah, I'll just show you the picture. This is terrible. I want to go away from the specific event and get to the broader topic here. Now, this is notable. Notably, Anderson is the cousin of Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors. Cullors resigned as head of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in 2021 after it was exposed that Cullors was using the organization as her own personal piggy bank. She paid herself $120,000 in consulting fees and used organizational funds to purchase 4 lavish homes for herself, totaling $3.2 million. So that's notable to know who this person was. Now, let's go to this here. Even though African Americans and other minorities are killed at a disproportionate rate compared to their share of the population, the fact is that every year, including the over 1,100 that were killed last year, that's 2022, the largest number of police victims are identified as white, and nearly all of them are working class, poor, or suffering from a mental health crisis. So this is essentially saying Black people are disproportionately killed, larger than our population, but the sheer number, if you're talking about raw numbers, white people were killed. There was more total number of white people, not disproportionately. So this was the case when Shamika Smith called the, so again, it goes into a story because it goes into the story of Takar, and I'll read just a little bit. This was the case when Shamika Smith called the LAPD on Sunday to report her estranged husband, Takar Smith, was violating a restraining order and had showed up to her apartment the previous night. Despite repeatedly telling the police that her husband and the father of 6 suffered from schizophrenia and was not on his medication, hours after Shamika called the police, they arrived at her residence without a mental evaluation unit. And we know how that ended. Just showing you the photo. Just terrible. The third person killed by police was Oscar Leon Sanchez. As was the case with Smith and Anderson, despite Sanchez displaying signs of mental illness, the LAPD did not deploy their mental health unit alongside police. Police were called to an area after multiple people reported a man matching Sanchez's description, throwing metal objects at cars as they were passing by. By the time police arrived, Sanchez had left the immediate area and was located at an abandoned home where he apparently had been living. The body camera footage released by police showed nearly a dozen armed cops confronting Sanchez, who was outside a second-story house. Sanchez eventually went inside and shut the door. The police are shown following him with guns drawn and a riot shield. And then I show you the picture there. The string of killings by the department, which killed at least 31 people last year and 37 in 2021, according to department figures, occurred less than a month after former Democratic Representative Karen Bass was sworn in as the new mayor of Los Angeles. In her first official day on the job, Bass declared a state of emergency on homeless and pledged to hire 250 more police to get out of desk jobs and into patrol. Bass' declaration was affirmed by the embattled Los Angeles City Council on Tuesday. The council, all Democrats like Bass, approved the measure 13-0. So they got more of those cops on the street to do these killings now. Just terrible. So that is the police state getting more money, not to stop crime, but just to kill people with their advanced weaponry. Oh God, these people. I said earlier 2 more articles, but there was one I forgot. I read the other one during the NAFO. That was the second article that I was going to read, but I read it through the NAFO segment. So that is it right at the 2-hour mark. So let's go through comments, and then we're going to be getting out of here soon. And let's bring up Twitter. We got comments to kind of hit on. I think I covered everything. Did I hit every story here? Let me make sure I hit every story. Yeah. Ryan Graham loses to RBN again. Ukraine flag meltdown. Yeah. LAPD kills. Twitter files and the NATO escalate. Yeah. Yeah. So just amazing. Just looking at that, thinking about that article again, the police killings, just murdering people at will. We have 384 likes. Please like the stream on your way out. Let's bring up our final video, and then we'll go to all your comments. Maybe put up like 20 or so comments. I'm going to throw up a bunch if we have enough that are on our topic, or at least readable, I should say. It's a good way to put it. I'm looking for my outro video. I think I might do the same one. This article here we're covering tomorrow. U.S. and Japan escalate war drive against Russia. So that'll be one. I know it was another one I was going to cover, but another segment that was on the fly that I was going to cover. And here is Keenan Anderson, that same article. He has a GoFundMe that has been retweeted around everywhere. I have that same article saved about from Jacobin So anyway, all right. So let's go back to the top to our outro video, and then we'll toss up your comments. I'll try to get to 20. Hopefully 20 are on topic, and then we'll exit out of here. I do like this video, so we're gonna use this again as our outro video. Yeah. All right, so we'll set that up, and let's get to some comments here. I'll start from the bottom. Let's scroll up actually a little bit. Where is it? LAPD is corrupt. America's mental health program is go live under a bridge. Go live under a bridge, but don't let us catch you under it when we come back to check. That's essentially it. You can't murder for that, right? They showed up to a car accident and murdered somebody. They showed up to somebody's house and killed somebody. Like, none of these things should be you lose your life for. Running from the cops isn't a murderable offense. I don't even think that's a word. The next time a Democrat sided with Joe Biden is more funding for police. Show these photos to them. The next time a Democrat sides with Joe Biden, I think I would say it that way, sides with Joe Biden with more funding for police, show these photos of them. That was depressing. It was depressing. Yeah. That's true. They always raise their voices over the smallest things. They are trained to bully. Right. Public service shouldn't be your rush fix. Spot on. Fascism is when your bad, illegal, oppressive, abusive foreign policy come home to your own citizens. Did Baz vote to increase the Capitol Police budget when she was in Congress? I'm guessing that's a yes. Yes, she did. When they jolt, it's the highlight of their day, week, month, year, and same action what they love. Same action when they love. Some action when they love. Someone should get them into skydiving or something instead. Let's do some more. I missed the story on Ukraine flag meltdown. I hope it was cut into a standalone. Yes, it will be, because the topic is something I can share with a few normies who could use some RBN in their life. Yes, that will absolutely be cut. And I think we're going to end there. I'm right at the 2-hour mark, or it will be 2 hours in just a few seconds here. So I think I'm going to end it there. There will be a clip. I probably have to reschedule it out 15 or so minutes. So there will be a clip, and it's a Robbie from the Rising clip. Sabby breaks down that interview or that discussion she had. I think Robbie and Brianna have a debate, property over lives. And Sabby covers that. So that's the clip that'll be coming later tonight. If Nick doesn't go live, I think he said he might go live, so I'll check with him. But that clip will be sometime tonight after this, so look for that. Again, join our Substack if you want to get notifications of clips like that. Join our Substack. Also hit the like button on your way out. And I'm going to end with this video here, the same one we began with, but it's so good, had to play it twice.
I'm going to jump in this tomorrow. And I'm telling you folks, right there, how white folks got so rich. The untold story of American white supremacy. I mean, I just read about the Indian land grab. And I'm like, my gosh, man, good Lord. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. No wonder we don't want to teach the truth. Because that means we've got to look people in the face and say, our forefathers were the worst people in the history of mankind. The things that they did, that manifest destiny, that kind of mentality, has been atrocious. What we have done to the African Americans. The estimated number of wealth that came from slavery, from free labor. And that's what it was. And they estimate that the amount of money that came from slavery was around $24 trillion. You can't even grasp that much money. The average person has a hard time grasping what $1 billion is. $1 trillion. Holy shit. And a lot of people don't want to admit the truth because a lot of people also are scared that what happens if we actually do have to maybe pay reparations. Understand that everything, that beautiful Capitol in Washington, D.C. was built by slave labor. The majority of the churches in this country were built by slave labor. Our forefathers were lazy. And if they were smart, which they were, but the problem was they were cunning and sad.
The country to its knees if it messes with a black man. You're saying that the only protection for black people is that they unite. So that when one black man is touched because he's black, there's some protection for him. Now, it's obvious that that protection does not exist in this country. It does not now exist. And the only people who can have that protection are black people. And black people know that. Now, white people may not know that. So it means that you have to build a movement so strong in this country that if one black man is touched, every black man will rise up and let this country know they're not going to tolerate it.
If one black man is touched.
That's right, because he's black. I mean, if a black man is walking down the streets of Mississippi, down a highway with a Bible in his hand, he is shot because he is black.
That's one incident.
I can name you a lot of others, and you know that yourself.
In the northern ghettos,
If one black man in California is driving his pregnant wife to the hospital and he is shot by a white racist policeman, I can name you more incidents.
then you're saying fight violence with violence.
I am saying that we must build a movement of black people that will protect ourselves so that we are willing to stop that by any means necessary. Now, I'm not concerned about the question of violence. It seems to me that that will depend upon how, in fact, white people respond. If white people, in fact, are willing not to bother with black people because they are black, then there's going to be no question of violence.
When you read stories about difficulties, riots in Omaha or Cleveland or Brooklyn or Chicago or wherever,
I call them rebellions.
they're rebellions. And you see nothing wrong with them?
I think that it is people who are rebelling against a system that has locked them inside tight of ghettos, that exploits and oppresses them, and they have no means of redress to break that system down. We intend to build within black people the realization that that problem is not theirs, that's created by white society. It's purposely created by white society, and then they throw it back on us and blame us. That's the first thing we have to create in black people.